What is going on, everybody? Thank you for tuning into another edition of On the Road to Victory. I am your host, Jimmy Smith, and I'm currently choking on the drink I just took before the damn show started. So I apologize, but appreciate each and every one of you tuning in tonight. Unfortunately, we were unable to get Howie for the show tonight, but he'll be here in spirit with us. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are here for the 1 point only night of mock drafting. And, last year I had a little wrinkle into it, and this year I had a little bit more. So usually we go with one mock draft. We try to do it live, and it's been kicking me off nonstop. So, yeah, we're just not going to try to do that. What I did was did a couple mock drafts here and did some with the trades, some without. But it's going to give me an opportunity to talk about some of these guys. If I actually like some of these things that went down, why I had to make certain decisions, things like that. But I'd love to hear your thoughts. Who would you love to see the Eagles take on Thursday? 10, 30, 62, 94, whatever picks you're talking about. 219. You want to talk about trading, anything that is on your mind, whatever it may be. We're going to get into it tonight. And we've got some good ones here now. There are some guys I really like that were not actually on any of my mock drafts here. So maybe I'm just not showing you because you guys know what show tomorrow is. And that's right. We are going through the top 10, my guys. And you'll find out my number one guy who I want the Eagles to take with that first pick. And I'll tell you how I think it gets done. So maybe I'm just leaving people off, or maybe they just weren't available, but we're going to talk about all of that tonight. So I appreciate each and every one of you that took the time. Let's go. Appreciate you tuning in, Dynasty. Let's go, baby. Love to hear your thoughts on this. Mark Eagles, let's go. Not even showing me pictures, so I'm probably lagging out as we speak. That's what I'm talking about. Not even trying to do it live because it makes me want to punch myself in the face. Go Birds. But oh my God, we're working up our way to not having to deal with this anymore. So let's go. Dude, let's go. LA in the house. That's what's up. Sean, Luffy, Mark, Dynasty, and Mr. LA Knight himself. Jesse, appreciate you tuning in. Yeah. Yo, but I appreciate you, dude. We're going to go through this damn draft. And look, Jalen Carter's a stud. There are a lot of studs in this damn draft, and I'm excited about it. So we're going to go through all this. Love to hear your thoughts. Who you guys are wanting here tonight. Let's go, Birds. E-money in the house. Let's go, baby. So we're going to start out by taking a gander at the ammo the Eagles have. So I've been trying to show the people, look, you only got 6 picks. Oh, okay. Well, 4 of those are in the top 100. Yeah, that's pretty great. 2 first-round picks. I love it. I highly doubt it's at 10 and 30. We could trade up. We could trade back. And whether that's at 10 and 30 that I'm talking about doesn't matter. But all kinds of fun happening here on day one, I can imagine. And then the rest of the days, look, I talked about it. I'm like, look, this weekend's going to be locked down. Saturday's going to be a weird one. Obviously, you're going to pick, and then you're going to wait. Now, don't, maybe day 1 or day 2, we acquire some of those 4th, 5th, 6th round picks we've been talking about, but do not, walk away because you know that the Eagles, bro, Howie Roseman's always wheeling and dealing. So with the 12 picks the following year, and then the 6 picks, the 8 picks after that, you got 6 this year, 12, and then 8. So 26 total. Let's go, baby. Ready to rock and roll. I was talking about it, depending on what I'm doing. Might go live for the draft, the first round. Sit here, just talk with you guys about what's going down. But I had to look, I can't show the draft. I can't have the audio, so we can't I have to just watch it and react to it. Apparently, you guys love that kind of stuff, so maybe I'll try to do that. Obviously, I have to walk away at times, but maybe I'll just turn the camera off, something, and you guys can continue commenting. If that's something you're interested in, let me know. If not, I'm just going to enjoy that damn draft, doing as I please. But look, I'm excited, and I think it's going to be an exciting day. And whichever way it goes, I'll be making breakdowns of the people that we do draft and all that great stuff. So do not fear. Going to be an exciting next couple days. And again, tomorrow is that top 10, and I'm going to be telling you my guy tomorrow as well. So hope you're excited for that. That Derrick Henry, I talked about that the other day. That's not going to happen. Great to think about, fun to think about, and maybe they throw us a curveball and they make it happen. I just don't see that being the route the Eagles take. And From what I've been told, that was a BS report. So I usually trust my source on that stuff. And look, we talked about it. Eagles could make it happen if they wanted to, but I think they might go a different route. So let's start this bad boy off. And I want to start off with the trade ones because these are usually ridiculous. And I start getting wild with stuff, and I try not to be like, I'm playing Madden or something and just give away all of my picks, from the next year, like I'm just giving everything away to get everything this year. That's not the route I tried to go. So I try to keep things fair, but I wanted to move up. Now I should have done 6, but the Lions, they were a little tender. I wasn't willing to do it. So I went to 8 and ended up with a guy that I don't think he falls to 8, but if he were there, and you could trade up Tyree Wilson. Oh, hell yes. So I was dancing around, ended up trading like every effing pick. But the one thing I wanted to do was stay at 6. So what I did was traded some of the, I think one of the picks from the following year. Somebody had offered me something. So I did that. But you can see, taking 70, 75, and 80 rather than, having 2 7th rounders there. So clearly I did trade a pick from the next year, but I didn't try to go too crazy with it. So just wanted to show, like, look, there are some guys in those rounds where I know we talk about a lot of these positions, edge rusher, guys like, Nolan Smith. Clearly everybody loves Luke Van Ness. Everybody's petrified of. I'm not against that. At 10, no. And I'm not trading up for him at 8. That's for sure. But I think edge rusher, you could always be looking there. So for me, Tyree Wilson would be a stud. And we talked about him when we were discussing the edge rushers. And to me, he and Will Anderson are the top dogs here. And whoever gets them, I think, obviously getting, 2 studs here. And this kid, he fits that mold perfectly when we talk about Nolan Smith, he can come in and, replicate essentially what Hassan Reddick does, back him up, even play with him at will linebacker. Well, that's the same thing you're talking about with Tyree Wilson, and I think a step up there. So if you could make that happen, for the love of God, I would love that. But beyond that, Brian Branch, not sure. I think he could fall to 30, but the way I had already made the trades there, I'd ended up with 24. So Brian Branch is who I took. I really like Brian Branch. We've talked about him extensively with those hybrid safeties we're going to be using in that quarters defense. He comes from Alabama. Sean Desai is going to be using that Nick Saban quarters defense. So, look, along with the Vic Fangio things he's learned, I think Brian Branch is a perfect fit. Played a lot of nickel cornerback, but I think will be playing safety in the NFL. And I think perfect fit for the Philadelphia Eagles. Gervin Dexter. I mean, with that 3rd pick, yeah, you get yourself an interior monster. So you don't get Jalen Carter, but you still get a stud. And we talked about him with the interior lineman. Love that dude. Then you get Diane Henley, another dude we talked about with the linebackers. We actually talked about all of these guys. If you watch the shows, broke down each position throughout the, last couple of weeks here. But I think Henley would be a stud, athletic freak. Then you got Marvin Mims. Not only does he bring you wide receiver depth, but brings you something special in the return game. I'll take it. And the same, when you're talking about Jacorian Bennett, a stud when it comes to an athlete. This dude's a freak athlete. And we talked about him, the other day with corners. I think you walk away here getting some studs on defense and, you get a return guy. That, to me, not against it. Now, a lot of people, need running back, this, that, the other thing. I've talked about it. I like our running back room. I'm excited to see what, Trey Sermon brings to the table. But to me, with where they were available, I was hoping Mo Ibrahim was going to drop a little bit there and be able to get him as a running back, but it didn't happen. So to me, Trey Sermon, he's kind of one of your late round picks. You already have him. You're hoping he turns into something. So it is what it is. We'll see. But you should watch Bleacher Report stream. They always know before it's announced on ESPN. No doubt. Now, I like enjoying the moment. I got to say, I'm not used to seeing you without headphones in the show thumbnail. Laugh out loud. What do you? I don't know what you mean. I'm drifting out this evening. I'm gonna be real with you, but got the headphones on right now. Oh, you mean in the picture of the show? I was like, what do you mean? Oh, the picture with Howie. See, I'm drifting out to sea. I don't like doing the pictures. That's cool. Everybody else does that and stuff. I don't like putting my face on all the bit. But I gotta take a picture. I hate doing that. I want to take a picture of myself every day. Oh no, oh no, I can't do it, man. I'm not gonna do that. But let's go. And yeah, I always laugh hysterically at all the mock drafts. That's why we do it one day, baby. Because you're gonna hear from everybody. Oh, I had this guy going to the Eagles. It's like, yeah, well, every day when you change who's going to the Eagles, you're bound to get something right, right? So someone making the roster. Well, if Bijan were here, yeah, I would not assume so. But and like we talked about, a great running back room. Nick Sirianni obviously likes Trey Sermon a lot for a reason. He was a third-round pick for a reason. He's obviously a really good back. Obviously did not work out in San Fran. Loaded running back room. So with a, half of a year to learn things, I think now with an offseason under his belt, we're going to see what he's got. He's going to compete. And I like Rashad Penny. Love me some Kenny Gainwell. So with Boston Scott back, I think great competition. Kennedy Brooks will get another opportunity, the undrafted kid out of Oklahoma last year. So hey, I like what we have, but if we add there, we shall see. But I know what the fans love talking about, as mentioned here by our guy Luffy, a guy named Bijan Robinson. So we did this one especially for you, made a little trade. And look, for me, I'm not exactly comfortable taking him at 10, but if he's your best player available at 10, and a lot of those defensive guys we talk about aren't there, hell, do what you got to do. But I think for me, you could trade back. So you see another trade extravaganza here. And this time, obviously, acquired some more picks. So you see, I took Bijan here, but I also acquired Brian Branch again. Just really love the kid and wanted to ensure I got somebody, that really is going to help out this defense in the secondary, in the back end. And I really think that could be him. Trenton Simpson, walking away with him after getting Brian Branch, I think, with Nakobe Dean there, Reed Blankenship, Terrell Evans, that makes me feel a lot more comfortable, Morrow there with the linebackers and safety. So that would be great. Gervin Dexter again showing up. Love him. I really think he's a talented dude. And then Andre Carter, the second we talked about with the edge rushers, I think is a stud. You get yourself an interior guy that I think Stout could turn into a starter sooner rather than later. I think Braden Daniels, we talked about him during the offensive lineman. I think one of the top fits for the Eagles. I would be ecstatic to land him. Then you've got Yasir Abdullah. You want to talk about a freak athlete coming off the edge. He's got like 4.45-ish speed, something like that, if I remember correctly. But the dude's a freak athlete. And look, you want to add to this edge rush. You got Carter and Abdullah. I couldn't pass on him with him still being there. So I will happily take two edge rushers there. But then Darius Davis adding, a little bit to wide receiver depth. It's got a little bit of work to go there. But man, this dude in the return game, we're talking about that 4.35 speed. Let's go. I would happily add that spruce to the kick returner. Covey still wants to take care of punt returning. Whatever you got to do. If he beats out Covey, that's fine. Whatever. Somebody's got to block, though. So let's go. But I knew you guys wanted to see Bijan Robinson, so I thought I'd bless you a little bit with that. And then I'm going to give you one without trades, just taking Bijan Robinson at 10. Now, if you do that, you don't have to be mad, because if you see here, you still walk away with a pretty good draft here. So there were a couple times where I really wanted to trade after I started this. I was just like, oh, I could really acquire somebody good here, and Howie will definitely do that. But you get, Brian Brissy here, and then you get Steve Avila. So you get two starters on the interior on offense and defense after you get Bijan. So I think for me, that's huge, because we're always going in the trenches. I think that would make, the team happy. You still get a stud, and then you back it up with Marvin Mims, who shows up again, which I really like this kid, and I don't know why he, is projected so low. I think he will definitely go higher than where, they have him listed as. I think he, is really dynamic. And look, whatever work we talked about there a couple weeks ago, I think is perfectly fine for me if you take him there, especially, and, bringing something to the return game. Thank you, please. Okay. Now, DJ Johnson talked about these freak athletes. Let's go. I'll take this speedster off the edge, and then Ronnie Hickman at safety. We talk about this dude who, can lay a licking on you. And I do like Ronnie Hickman, but he was the best player available at the time, but there wasn't so many people that I felt like had a lot of great options there. But at that point, you're just hoping that a guy can come in and compete. So I took the best player available there. But I'd give you guys your Bijan Robinson fix before we get into these other ones. So there you see it with some trades without, but these next ones, they're going to be without trades, and you're going to see some different names here, but we're going to talk about it here. So we shall see. During your evaluations, have you seen the one player that you would say that this guy is a difference maker for our team against Kyle? Well, we'll talk about that tomorrow when we talk about my number one pick. So a lot of guys that I love here, though. You guys have been tuning into each show where I talk position by position with my top 10 fits for each position. I think the quarterbacks had top 5 because, well, we really don't need a quarterback, but we talked about each position, why someone would fit where. And look, I gave you my opinion on everyone I possibly could. And I'm really excited about this draft. But tomorrow will be my top 10, my guys. And I'll give you my number 1, who I think is the one that's going to change the game for the Philadelphia Eagles. So as I had mentioned at the beginning of the show, maybe you don't see someone on these mock drafts. Maybe I'm hiding them from you, so you don't know who I'm picking. Or maybe you've already seen them. Or maybe they're coming up. No one knows, but I will tell you tomorrow, and then Thursday, we'll find out who they're actually taking. Darius Davis, oh, well, yeah, we talked about him during the receivers. Then we talked about him during the special team show. I think, to me, should look to add some depth there and in the, form of a return man. So I would be ecstatic because the kid's a burner and had a couple touchdowns in the return game. Talked about him during that receiver show. And anybody I mentioned here, you guys can go back, got some breakdowns of these guys at each position. The playlist is called, like 2023 draft fits, whatever. You'll see it. Each position, whatever you're interested in. If you've got your draft fix, you need it, or you need your draft fix, I've got it for you. I'm out to see here. Bijan and Branch, I would be pretty excited there. So I think for me, Brian Branch would, perfect safety. Perfect. Of course, Eric, I'm always here talking shop. You ever want to join in, please feel free. I'm here every day going down. This is video number 3 today. We went over Olamide Zaccheaus cap hit, and then as soon as I got done, Jalen Hurts contract details came out, so I broke that down extensively. Thing only has 70 views. Go check that damn thing out. That is literally a gold mine into understanding Jalen Hurts' contract and how you can tell other people when they say you have no cap. You can literally show them we have a lot, and how that contract's broken down. I break it down for you and show you how we create more money. So appreciate you, dude. Always trying to do what I can. But with the draft looming, we are obviously in draft mode. I like Paris Johnson a lot. We've talked about him, but yeah, we'll talk about that here shortly. But you said, and I know a lot of you guys love Bijan, so I thought I'd give you that there quickly. Now, with this one, I was thrown off that this guy was even here at 10. Now, it could possibly happen, especially if some quarterbacks go, which happened in this draft. But I was really, without trades, I was like, oh, hell yeah, I'll take it. But Mr. Christian Gonzalez here. Oh, yeah. If he's there at 10, that's going to be almost impossible to pass on him. I know that you brought back Slay and Bradbury, but this kid, he's the future there. So you go ahead, you let him learn from 2 of the best corners in the game, and then he becomes your starter in a couple years. I'm all aboard that train. You can use him. He is a versatile defensive back, could help you on special teams there. So bring him on in. Jahmyr Gibbs then at 30. All right. I love Kenny Gainwell, but if you're offering me Jahmyr Gibbs there, I did that one a little bit for you guys because I know you love him, and I'm a huge fan. But again, I'm excited about Kenny Gainwell. The reason I would be okay with Gibbs is, well, you can use him in the passing game as well. You could have them both on the field. But Gibbs really brings you something in the return game, and that, to me, would be fantastic. Now, are you really using a first-round pick on a return man? Well, the fact that he helps you on offense and special teams is the thing that might sell you there. So, couldn't trade here, so just stayed at 30, and I thought he was the best available, so I'm taking him. Now, at 62, Jack Campbell was still there, so I thought to myself, oh, hell yeah. So get ourselves somebody to pair with Nakobe Dean. I'm all aboard Jack Campbell. So would be happy there. And then right after that, got Sidney Brown, who you guys know if you watch that safety show. Yes, I love Brian Branch, but I also really love me some Sidney Brown. He and Christopher Smith, I think, very good safeties that would, played nickel corner, versatile defensive backs that are going to fit into this quarter's defense that the Eagles are going to be running. And I think Sidney Brown, oh, hell yeah. Now, look, it doesn't really matter. You're not like, oh, this guy's going to fit this. It's more that I like him a lot, and I think he would fit in what we're trying to do. So that's why I like him. Now, Raheem Jarrett here showing up again, and an ultra-talented freak athlete that we talked about a little bit ago. I think, adding someone to the return game, not just Gibbs, and then getting a receiver, man, that would really just, you're looking like you're the Chiefs because you see how they built around Patrick Mahomes with young talent, speedy talent, athletic guys, I'm all about it. So sign me up. Then you finish off the draft getting Jordan McFadden. Got some experience playing tackle and guard. So that's somebody that, he brings that versatility we want to see. Somebody that's going to push for a starting spot at right guard. We want competition there. So bring it on. Now, up next, I'll be 100% honest with you. This draft, I did it probably like 5-6 times, or a couple times where I accidentally restarted it. It kicked me off, or I just was pissed off that somebody was going and restarted it. And I never once, ever. And yes, we do have cap space, and I appreciate you taking the time to watch that. But one of the things, I could not believe happened was I was like, all right, I'm going to make, one more and hope that I get a defensive stud that falls to me. Well, got a stud that fell to me. And then when it got to 30, I don't think Will McDonald's going to be there. So in this one, not only did Carter fall, but apparently people were just going offense. So went with Will McDonald. And I think another freak athlete that, man, if you put behind, we talked about Wilson earlier. I think right here in Will McDonald, I'd be ecstatic about that too, especially if you're getting Jalen Carter, who I think, one of the best, if not the best in this draft. And look, you can talk about his pro day, all those things, but he's definitely in the running for one of my number one guys there, if not going to be that guy. As you all know, I have talked very highly of this young man. So the way he would just next to Jordan Davis, Milton Williams, having Sweat and Reddick on the outside. And we all know the, rotation we have with Fletch there and Brandon Graham. You've got guys. So yes, an influx of youth I'd be fine with. But then Devin A-Chain. Oh, hell yeah. You guys heard me talk about him when we talked about those running backs a couple weeks ago. I know Bijan Robinson, Jahmyr Gibbs are the sexy names, but you remember during that show, I talked about two guys that might be your, Dollar General, your great value versions per se. But I think in this offense, Devin A-Chain or Zach Charbonnet would be fantastic. Now, Charbonnet was gone, so went with some A-Chain, and I'm telling you, if you haven't watched him yet, as I told you a couple of weeks ago, this kid is dynamic. So not only does he bring you something on offense and you can line him up in, the slot, you can have him all over the place, end arounds in the return game. So you get yourself an offensive weapon after getting two beasts on the defensive line. Then you get Sidney Brown showing up again as a safety, and hey, Raheem Jarrett right after him. But these are the kind of versatile freak athletes I'm looking for, best available in this draft, and I love it. They have these guys falling. I hope they do, and I hope the Eagles get them. Let's go. Curtis McClendon then stepping in here. This is a guy that also has that versatility, so you still nab yourself an offensive lineman. You hope that Juergens can start a guard, if not Driscoll. Maybe Suopeta steps it up. Maybe this young man comes in and Stout turns him into a beast. You never know, but you go ahead. You're not going into this draft saying, I need to do this. I have to get this position. That is not how the draft works, and the Eagles are not going to do that. So if their top guy is not there, now I thought about Skoronski, thought about Paris Johnson, and we talked about, I had Paris Johnson over Skoronski, if you guys remember the offensive line show. And as soon as I made that show, you guys remember the next day, everybody's like, oh, Paris Johnson. And it's like, oh, yeah, he's pretty good. But, you talk about DeJuan Jones on the other side there at Ohio State. You talk about the offensive lineman, Osiris Torrance, I was hoping I'd be able to get. But in these drafts, everybody kept taking him. I was like, you son of a. So there's a lot of guys we've talked about. Darnell Wright. There's a lot of offensive linemen that I don't feel that at 10 I had to go there, especially when I saw guys like Gonzalez or Carter there. And to me, if you have, questions about Skoronski because he's played tackle and, we're just going to move him to guard and he's just going to be fine. Like, oh, okay. And I do like him, but all right. But Paris Johnson, he did play guard. We talked about that. He started at guard. He can play tackle. You love the versatility, but been some questions about his work ethic that I've heard from the grapevine. So I'm not so sure I like him at 10 either, when I can just grab somebody at 30 if I feel, and there's another guy. I've got one more for you. And there's another guy I really like. I'm not going to mention him. I'll show you him here, but I think that there's guys that you could definitely go without, So as much as I like the offensive lineman, I think there are so many studs on defense too. So this is going to be very intriguing to see, which route we go here. But look, man, I'm pumped. I'm ready for Thursday. I hope you're ready. We'll take a look at this last mock draft here real quickly. It's 2 defensive tackle that you can get sacked from. We need to just build this team up from whatever the best available is, So, hey, whatever it may be, and that circumstance, I wish I could show you. I wish my computer didn't suck so I could show you how I was doing this, but it's like certain people just weren't there. But you go best player available, and you can see I try to show you a plethora of different ways, so you don't know who I'm going to tell you tomorrow, and so you can see that, hey, maybe you miss out on someone. There are still guys available in these rounds, so I'm excited about it. I really am. So glad you didn't say Luke. And look, to me, I don't mind Van Ness. I think a lot of people, talk about him, as if he's like horrible, but I'm not taking him at 10. You gotta be shitting me. I have him more falling, toward the end of the first, if anyone's taking him there, but that's because there could be an influx on edge rushers because there is a plethora of talent there. But I, have other guys in front of him, and Will McDonald, I think, a lot of guys that are really exciting. And Van Ness, I think, to me, he brings versatility. He can actually line up inside. He can line up outside. I think that's exciting, so not a horrible player, but the hate's really weird, but I'm not taking him at 10. I'll be real with you there. So, but we'll see. We'll see. But you're good. You don't go pipe dreams. You like me. Hey, and that's why, last year, the last 4 years, I've been able to nail who the Eagles were going to draft. And, tomorrow's going to be the day where I pick the guy. We're going to go for 5 years in a row, but I keep changing things up. So I'm like, I'm just going to get it wrong. I hope I do, just so I don't have to keep, try to keep the streak alive, because it's too stressful, man. Too stressful. Don't like it. But look, you always have to look to the future. It can't be, oh my God, we have this hole here, so this guy's going to fit perfectly. I like when people talk about Nolan Smith. I like when people, now for me, maybe you trade back a couple picks, you still are able to acquire him. Maybe you do certain things, but it's like, you can take these kids. I don't care if Hassan Reddick is here. In 2 years, he might not be. And he might be a little bit older and might not be as good. No knock on Hassan. I love Hassan. You guys remember that was my number one. Damn. That was my number one free agent last year. So for me, you just look at the best player available and you take them. I was choking on my drink before I started this show. If you guys were here in the beginning, my water's gone. I'm out to sea here, ladies and gentlemen. So we're just going to fight through it. We're going to fight right through. Oh, my Lord. But yes, we talked about Trenton Simpson from Clemson. Feel like there's going to be a move up from 30. Yeah, man, we had one of those that happened, Raymond. And that's something I talk about extensively. Hey, not just 10. I think, you can move up to 6. You can move up to 8. You can move back to 12, 14, 18, 16. You could do so many things. But pick 30, you could move up to 26. You could really love someone and they fall and you're like, I got to take them. You could be at 30 and be like, man, there's like 6 guys I'd be happy with taking. So you're like, you know what? Let's trade back to 35 and we're definitely going to get one of these 6 guys. So, then it turns into a second round pick. They don't have the 5th year option. It's different money, all that stuff. So anything is possible. And at the beginning of the show, I had shown you guys all of the picks that we have, 26 in the next 3 years. So do not think Howie won't be wheeling and dealing. But let's take a gander at this final mock draft. And it happened literally right after the last one. Jalen Carter available again. And I was like, you got to be shitting me. So I took him. And then at 30, Gibbs was available. And I thought, well, the fans will really love this one because you get that stud that helps you on offense and in the return game. But, you had Jalen Carter at 10. So holy hell. But then you get Cody Malk, who is the guy I was leaving off. I really like this kid. This is a versatile piece, can play all over the line. And I think if you grab him with that 3rd pick in the 2nd round, oh yeah, I would be ecstatic about that because I think this kid is a stud. He could definitely start at right guard for you. He could start down the line at right tackle when Lane, retires, whatever happens. But I think if you've seen this kid, he's hilarious. But love the dude, the long hair, the red hair. He's got the beard, the missing tooth. He's hilarious. But love the dude. Would love to have him on the Eagles. Looks like Bo Allen's second cousin, dude. Let's go. Sidney Brown. Would love to have him. I think you guys have caught, and if it's not Brian Branch in that secondary, give me some Sidney Brown. Now Nick Hampton follows him. This is a freak athlete, edge rusher, but this is a kid that again, would fit perfectly as that, backup to Hassan Reddick, learning from him as that Sam linebacker, dropping him into coverage, doing a lot of things with a very versatile piece that can help you in that zone coverage, can attack the quarterback as an edge rusher. So love to see that. And then you get more of your prototypical linebacker right after that in D Winters, another freak athlete. And that's what I'm trying to add to this defense. And I think we're going to be all over the place. I think I'm perfectly fine with, obviously Sean Desai replacing Jonathan Gannon, but he's going to bring, we talked about a lot of the same concepts, but I talked about a lot more of Nick Saban's quarters defense, a lot of, things that you saw, but a lot of different things. And I think adding these versatile, athletic young kids is only bright for the future, because I think these young coaches are going to be around, Brian Johnson and Desai, hopefully for a couple years. And we lost the other ones in 2 years. And I think, they're going to be, another group of very bright minds that do well. So hopefully Sirianni steers the ship right and these guys go out and dominate. But Jalen Carter showing up again at 10, that was like, okay, are you serious, dude? Because I don't know, man. Maybe people, because of the pro day and obviously the incident with the car crash, all that. So yeah, I get it. But my God, if he falls to 10, you're looking at a top, 3 talent. I mean, whoa, what are you doing? So, I mean, I kind of feel like Howie's the kind of person, he's going out here and he's like doing these kind of things. He's, putting things in people's ears. He's, he bought him, $100 gift card or, a week's free of meals at Chick-fil-A or something. He really just, he did something, made his pro day just go wrong. And, obviously the horrible incident, we don't want to talk about that. I'm not joking about that, but you just wonder, like, how? Because we got Nakobe Dean in the 3rd last year. If we get this dude at 10, I'll lose my mind. But there are some other intriguing picks. Now, again, you didn't see any of those offensive linemen that we've been talking about. So maybe I'm leaving them off because I want to show them to you and they're my number 1 tomorrow. Or maybe it's an edge rusher. Who knows? But I will be back tomorrow and we will discuss my top 10 guys in the draft. And clearly we'll get to number 1, and I will tell you who I have the Eagles picking. And the way I'll do it, I'll give you my top 10. We'll just focus on number 10. But then for a little bonus, since we're, a team with a second first-round pick, we'll talk about that pick 30. So, yeah, tomorrow we're going to get excited, go through it all. But as I said, I'm not sure yet, but on draft day, I might do a live video, just see how it goes, see if you guys want to chat throughout the draft. Talk about the things that are going down, what's coming, what's going, all that great stuff. But look, we're going to try to stay sane here, right? Because I'm losing my effing mind getting ready for this draft. But I'm excited, man. And D Winters, I think so many. And look, I like doing mock drafts, but I cannot deal with 3 months of daily. Oh, here's my mock draft. And look, I love it. And I love that you guys are excited about it. It's when the media people, because then you know what they're going to do. Those guys that are like, oh, I know NFL people. And each week it's, oh, this guy's going to the Eagles. And then whoever we take, oh, I had an article. It's like, yeah, dude, but you had 64 articles on 64 different players. So you're going to get someone right. I mean, hopefully. I don't know how they haven't stood in my realm yet, but hey, it is what it is. And look, we're going to keep having fun with this. And that's why I think it might be fun to go live. So I'm going to maybe test her on out, see what's going down. I might have some people over. So we'll see. But either way, tomorrow, if anything happens, any weird roster moves or trades or anything, I will go live. But if not, I'm going to see you tomorrow night. And it's going to be Christmas Eve, baby. We're going to be getting ready and losing our minds. And I'm going to try to put some magic in the air for you guys. I don't know. I seriously do not know yet who my number 1 person is. I'm down to about 3 guys. And it's driving me insane because it's like, okay, I want to take this guy. It's like, okay, but could we trade back? And you remember when I said Jordan Davis last year, I said we might have to trade up for him. So I am going to do that again this year. I have that ability to say, okay, we might trade up and grab this guy. I just gotta work the magic here. So look, I'd love to say Will Anderson, but I don't know if we're going up to number 3 here. But if somebody starts falling, like we talked about here at the beginning of the show, Wilson, or maybe you're looking at Jalen Carter, a lot of things could happen here. So I'm going to keep that all in mind. I'm going to keep in mind that Bijan Robinson is a stud and would make this offense quite explosive. So I'm going to keep it all in mind, ladies and gentlemen, but why don't you all tell me who you think the Eagles' number 10 pick should be, whether you're watching this live, whether you're watching this later. I'd love to hear your thoughts, but go ahead and make it harder for me, twist me, and turn my thoughts as much as you can, because man, there are some studs. You always hear like, oh, it's not a very deep draft. It's like, yeah, it is, dude. If you know what you're looking at and you know how to find these studs, and I think we're going to be able to do that. 6 picks, but we could turn them into more. We could turn them into less. We'll see, ladies and gentlemen. But truly appreciate each and every one of you taking the time tonight. He's a beast, man, and he's a versatile defensive lineman that I think, with a team that's going to run the multiple schemes. You talk about the odd and even fronts. He's perfect for it. So I would love to have him. I definitely would. So we'll talk about it tomorrow. We'll see where he ends up in my top 10. My dude, GP Rock, coming in right at the end. Appreciate you, my dude. Do me a favor. If you rewatch this, and if any of you rewatch this, feel free, please, to comment along with it. I will always talk birds with you. Happy to hear what you guys think, what I'm going through, each, mock draft, whatever. Let me hear your thoughts on it. But I truly appreciate you, my man, always coming in with the kind words and letting me know that you guys are here supporting me all the way. So I love it. Darnell Washington was a guy. He was available at one point, and I think I took Gibbs over him because I'm like, look, man, you got to take best player available, and there's no way that Darnell Washington's better than Gibbs. Now, I love me some Darnell Washington. You guys remember? I think he was my number 1 tight end fit, right? So I think, what I talk about, what he could do for this team as a blocker, a tight end too, whereas Goddard kind of has to do that kind of stuff because Stoll, he can help you a little bit. He can catch a little bit, but he's not the greatest. Calcaterra is more of your receiving tight end. So I've talked about that extensively. Luffy, you heard me during that show talk about the fact that you add him as tight end too. This offense is unstoppable because Goddard, Goddard was hurt for a little while there. You guys remember last year, we were unstoppable before that. They took away a big chunk of our offense by doing that with the face mask that wasn't called, pretty much why we lost to Washington. So it is what it is. But I think if you add to that room, I would be quite ecstatic. So yes, I agree with you there. Love that dude. But that's all I've got for you, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you liked the little twist on it this year. But tomorrow I will be back with my top 10 guys and my number 1 pick for the Philadelphia Eagles at number 10. But again, let me know who you think the Eagles should take at 10, or maybe at 30 or 62 or 94 or 219 or 248. Let me know what you're thinking, ladies and gentlemen. But I hope you're all having yourselves a great night. Hope to see you tomorrow. If you missed any of those videos earlier, go check them out. The one with Jalen Hurts contract extension details, that's got everything you'd ever need to know to go body bag all those people telling you don't have cap space. Well, in 3 years, they won't. It's got the future cap space, all the stuff you would ever need to know. Go check that bad boy out. And if you do, let me know what you think about it. Always down to hear that talking. Luffy's getting us started here, but let's get it going, chat. You know what's coming, but have yourselves a great rest of your night. Until tomorrow, I am Jimmy Smith, and this is On the Road to Victory. Have a great night, everyone. Stay safe out there, and as always, go Birds!